Money's not everything, but I'm telling you, and I did all that without closing a sale. I did it because people trust my name now. So that's when you start thinking about scaling. It's very, very difficult to do, though. The most difficult part about scaling, David, is that we start to accept the success we have as something as the pinnacle compared to where we came from. We're like, oh my God, bro, that's unbelievable. That's amazing. Everything I've done has shocked me, you know? So I remember being a car salesman and I was making $3,000 a month. I was freaking like shocked because I had never made $3,000 a month. But, you know, if you take somebody from Nigeria and bring them to America and they make $3,000 today, they're going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe that, because they've never made more than $300 in a month. So it's all relative, right?
All right. Hey, Masters, welcome to another episode of Path to Mastery podcast. And we're here with Mr. Grant Cardone himself today. What's going on, Mr. 10X?
Brother, how you doing, man? Good to be with you.
Good to be with you too, man. It's good to see you again. It's one of them days I just got to spend some time with you on the licensee call. And that was fascinating. A couple of things that came up on that call too, Grant. I'm not going to do an intro. I don't need to do an intro for you. I mean, people know who you are. Well, one of the things that came up on that call that I wanted to bring up again was, you talked about, it was something I was actually going to talk to you about, but in the end, you talked about discontentment. Mm-hmm. You said, I'm not concerned about being happy, and I was going to ask you this anyway, because I remember when my first licensee event, you came in and talked to us, and you were talking, we were at an event and you're talking about 2 events out. And I'm just like, man, this guy's work ethic. Like, I never seen anything like it. Like, we're sitting here at an event and you're talking to us about 2 events, going out. And I was thinking, like, this guy, like, he doesn't need the money or anything. Why is he so worried about focused on all this other stuff? Right. And so, hopefully everything I said kind of comes together. When you think of, maybe it doesn't, but
no, I mean, look, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to have things pull me forward, right? So, I work with a lot of short-term targets to achieve something long-term, some long-term goal. So the goal, I have my goals, and there's things I have to do in between that fill me up. Some of it, David, is just keeping me busy enough so that I can continue moving forward, because contrary to what most of the motivational coaches and, the rah-rahs out there telling you got to do this and that. And bro, look, all these guys, none of these guys do everything they say they're doing. They're human beings. Okay. Anybody that believes that any of these people are not human beings, everybody has bad days. Nobody is so disciplined that they don't violate their own, whatever their non-negotiables are. I like to beat the sun up. Doesn't mean I do it every day. I haven't done it in 5 days until this morning. I just know that the days I do it, my days go better. So what I'm doing most of the time is I'm literally just stringing together steps. Okay. Like, okay, here's the next step, bro. Like, I can't see, sometimes I can see for a moment, okay, I'm going to build a $50 billion bank. I'm going to raise $50 billion. I'm going to have $50 billion. I can see that that's possible because I know it's been done. I just haven't done it. Now what I got to do is I got to keep taking steps along the way. A lot of that is just being at events, doing events, being in around people, man. Having the next thing to go to, hoping tomorrow actually comes. And so, those are little gimmicks and tricks that I'm doing so that I wake up tomorrow and I have something to show up for.
So you're keeping yourself motivated, like that stuff motivates you, right? Like,
well, no, not really. I'm keeping myself obligated more than motivated. So I don't really believe in the motivation thing much. I leave that to Tony and his crew. Look, my deal is not for people that need motivation. My thing is for people that want to 10x their business and 10x their lifestyle and 10x. we don't attract people that need motivation. We attract people that need more.
Mm.
You want more stuff. You want more success. You want more money. You want bigger problems. Like I want people that want bigger problems, not people that want to get rid of problems. So I'm trying to attract a different audience. I'm trying to attract an audience of people that are never satisfied, not people that are looking for life balance. That's why my audience is so good, bro. My audience is they're fucking maniacs.
Mm.
They're people. Look at my audience. My audience. If you go into my audience and say, I'm just looking to be happy, my audience is gonna be like, man, that's overrated, bro. That ain't 10x. So they're gonna actually be like, let's go get more. Let's have more. Like I'm trying to make more cool again. It used to be cool, by the way, when people came to this country, they came because they wanted more, not because they wanted, they wanted to settle. People came here because they wanted a better lifestyle. Mm. And now something's happened. We watered that down in the last 50 or 60 years in America to people just want to be, happy, whatever that means.
Yeah, because you said on the call this morning, you said, I don't remember. Your exact words were, it was like, I don't worry about being happy. I don't need to be happy.
I mean, it's just not a target for me. It's not something I'm trying to achieve. I'm not unhappy. I'm not trying to be happy man. So I'm trying to be successful man. Like if there was a Marvel, the Marvel comics, right? The heroes, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man. Bro, those people are doers. They know life balance, man. They know happy man. Superman flies, he jumps buildings. It's faster than a speeding bullet. Batman, he's creating all these super inventions, to protect Gotham City. Wonder Woman, she gets rid of all the bad guys. These people are doing stuff. They're not selfish. They're exteriorizing. They're going out. All their actions are going out. What's his name? The guy with the big mallet. What's his name?
Thor. Yeah.
Thor, Iron Man. These guys are doers, man. They ain't happy, man. Happy ending.
So listen, here's something I was gonna, and you talked about it this morning, ironically too, is I feel like, like I'm never satisfied. And obviously the people in the community are doing things at such a higher level. I'm just like, wow, listening to Noam this morning and some of those other people, what they're up to. But how, like, there's still this little voice in my head, bro. And I was going to ask you this, like this, it's there from my childhood. It's always trying to say, negative stuff, like, oh, this, and do you deal with that at all? Or is that something that you
ought to get rid of that? Okay.
I know, man. And I'm always working on it and I'm aware of it now.
But if you're working on it, and it's not going away, it's not working. Whatever you're doing is not working. So we need to, I'm going to turn you on to a way to get rid of all that.
Okay.
Permanently, you won't even, like, it'll be erased.
That's what I need.
Then you'll have your attention on the other things that just covers up, that those things aren't really even your problem, believe it or not.
So like, cause good things are happening. I told you this morning, good things are happening, but there's still that little tiny thing that sometimes shows up, Grant. I think other people can relate, to this conversation. Cause I feel like I've held myself back, and that's why it's been so important being part of your community for the last year. You know, so that's not something you've dealt with, or was it something you dealt with in the past? And how did you get rid of it? How did you?
100%, bro. I like, when I started my journey, my journey really started when I was 45 years old. I mean, it started before that, obviously, but when I was 45, I was like, man, I was plagued with so much fear. No matter how much success I had, I still had fear. And I know people don't believe this because I don't look like I have fear, but I did. I was swallowed, literally covered in fear. I still experience it to some degree today, but it is a like a part of a little residual, probably just a healthy version of that, what that unhealthy thing was years ago. And I mean, it was terrible. I always felt inadequate, didn't think people were going to like me. No matter how much success I had, I thought it was going to end. I remember signing a deal with a guy. It was early in my career. Imagine this. I'm 31 years old. I created all my sales university content, which back then, bro, it was way ahead of its time. Okay. It was like, and we did one tour of the United States. I did maybe that year, maybe I did 6 or 8. I might have done 40 gigs that year. Now I'm 31 years old. This is 33 years ago. We got done with the year, super successful. People loved it, man. People were tripping. By the end of the year, the audiences were getting bigger than the beginning of the year. And I went to the guy, his name was Bob Moore. And I said, Bob, how many years do you think I have left of this? I thought maybe one more, maybe 2 more tours. That at the age of 34 years old, I'd be done. That was 30 years ago. That's how much fear I had. I did not believe in myself. I didn't believe in the content. I didn't believe in this kind of thing. I kind of tripped over in the sales thing. I didn't know if it could grow. There was no 10X, bro. There was no Gulfstream 650s and helicopters. And, I didn't have a wife. I didn't have kids. I didn't believe in me, man.
Were you still like, so, well, actually, you know what? I want to go back to what you said though. Going back, I'm watching Rules of Success right now. The ones where you're at your beach house and you're on the beach.
That was done when I was 35 or 36 years old. Fascinating.
Yeah, it's amazing. At that point, were you seeing yourself where you are now? Or was that?
No. I bought that house. I was with a girl and we lived across the street from that house that I shot that video at. And she left the relationship. She went back to Texas. 2 weeks after she left, I went and bought the house across the street. She was satisfied where we were. That's what broke us up, by the way. She was happy and content, and I wasn't. I was living right here, and across the street was this house, and I'm like, I want to live over there. I want to live across the street, okay? And across the street was on the ocean. It was bam. I was on the best street in all of La Jolla. I was everything to be proud of. And she was like, why can't you just be satisfied? I said, I don't know. Because I'm supposed to live over there. I'm not supposed to live over here. So while she was with me, I stayed over there. As soon as she left, the house literally went on the market, came on the market. Somebody bought my house and I bought that house. I bought that house with no money down. Okay. It was like magic, man. It was unbelievable. And so I moved into the house. I get a phone call from this group called ASTN. They said, hey, we want to shoot an automotive segment. And we want to come out to your house and shoot it. I said, okay, cool, man, let's do it. I said, but while you're out here, this is a thing I do. I never do one thing. I never go anywhere and accomplish one thing ever. I don't go anywhere for one meeting. I don't travel anywhere for one place. If I go see Floyd Mayweather in Vegas, I'm going to stack some other people to go see. So I said, while you guys are coming out here, I just need your crew to shoot this program for me. It'll only take 2 or 3 hours. And they said, okay, send the script. So basically it's a way for me to be more effective with my time. And when I sent in the scripts, it was 13 scripts. They said that is impossible to shoot in one day. It's called The Rules of Success. We've sold tens of millions of copies of this. And that was done. That was a $3 million house. I bought it with no money down. I didn't think I'd be able to buy the house. I got the loan with no money. And that was $5 billion ago. $5 billion, bro. Okay. Now I'm telling you that part of the story. That was 25 companies ago. It was $1 billion worth $1 billion of sales on the internet ago. It was before anybody knew my name. I was dependent upon one tiny industry. I wasn't married, didn't have any kids, wasn't a celebrity, had no following. There was no Instagram or Facebook. I didn't know all that shit was going to come. And I thought I had reached the pinnacle of my life. I didn't know I'd meet Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart didn't exist. You know, I didn't know we'd have conferences. I was still trying to get 200 people to show up to an event, man. And now 34,000 people show up at events. So there'll be 1 million people at an event I do in January this year. I didn't know any of that would be possible.
Wow.
And I think, David, that everybody, including yourself, everybody is underestimating what they're capable of. I've never met anybody that wasn't capable of doing more than they're doing right now.
Yeah. I agree with that, man. Hey, did Annie tell you how much I followed up to get this interview? Like the amount of I followed up. Well, I mean, I love it, man. And listen, that's a big part of what you teach. And that's why it resonates so much with what you're up to with Cardone U and everything else. Do you have I know she said it was a short 20 minutes or so. Do you have time for a couple questions?
Yeah,
or
sure.
maybe even one from Clubhouse? Let's see.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, cool. So, let's see if you're on the stage right now. By the way, there's a link up at the top. You can follow. Everything's in there. My podcast, as well as a link to get your GrowthCon tickets. We also have an event coming up next week. So just click on that link. There's only 5 things there. Make sure you connect with each of them. So who has a question for Grant? Give me a mic flash and we'll probably get to one question today. So anybody's got a question they think would benefit. All right. So see Dr. Finance. So yeah, Dr. Finance, how's it going, sir? Grant, you know Tony, Dr. Finance, big influencer Clubhouse?
Of course I do, man.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, what's up? What's up, David? Hey, Grant. David, thank you for for inviting me up here, Grant. Appreciate you, man. And yeah, I have a quick question.
Grant, can you hear that okay?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, thank you so much. So I interviewed Brad Lee yesterday, and I asked him, he's a good closer and good salesperson. I had a good question. I want to ask the same one for you. As an expert salesperson, how do you react when someone tries to sell you something? So, for example, someone knocks on your door and they want to sell you something. Do you see it as a learning experience? Because the way I see it is a person like yourself would probably like a cat and a mouse, just playing around with them, learning from them. How do they pitch, measuring them up?
No, I mean, I don't play with people, dude. I don't play with people. So, I'm not trying to, find out how good they are. I know they're no good. I mean, most salespeople just are terrible. And Brad Lee, by the way, he overestimates his closing skills. He ain't that good. So look, you can only, and by the way, bragging about being a great salesman is not really anything to brag about. So there's a lot of other things to brag about on this planet: being a better businessman, being more philanthropic. If you could cross over and figure out how to make yourself known all over the world. Mother Teresa is way more accomplished than the greatest salesman that's ever lived. So, I would tell Brad Lee, my friend Brad Lee, bro, you got to, get a t-shirt. I'm the greatest closer in the world. Big deal. I tried to tell this to that piece of garbage, Jordan Belfort, but he didn't get it because he's a fucking creme. And he thinks he's reached the end. I did this before in my life. I thought what I was just telling David a few minutes ago, bro. I was 34 years old. Thought I had reached the pinnacle of my damn life. Can you imagine? Okay, I used to make, like, just financially, in 1 year when I was 35 years old. I remember I made 700 grand a year. I thought I was the shit, bro. My whole family thought I was the shit. They thought I had been crowned a king or something. Well, I made that this morning before 9 o'clock in the morning. Money's not everything, but I'm telling you, and I did all that without closing a sale. I did it because people trust my name now. So that's that's when you start thinking about scaling. It's very, very difficult to do, though. The most difficult part about scaling, David, is that we start to accept the success we have as something as the pinnacle compared to where we came from. We're like, oh my God, bro, that's unbelievable. That's amazing. Everything I've done has shocked me, you know? So I remember being a car salesman and I was making $3,000 a month. I was freaking like shocked because I had never made $3,000 a month. But, you know, if you take somebody from Nigeria and bring them to America and they make $3,000 today, they're going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe that, because they've never made more than $300 in a month. So it's all relative, right?
Yeah. Well, Tony, thanks for the question, bro. I appreciate you, sir. Grant, what's the question? I'm going to ask you a question I've been asking on my podcast.
It's a terrible question. It's a terrible question.
All right. Well,
what question would I ask myself?
Well, no, so what's the question you never get asked, bro, that you want to get asked? Like, what's the one that you're like, man, I hope someone asks me this question?
I mean, I don't really have one, you know. I don't have a question. I wish, you know, what do I wish people ask me? I don't know.
So you're interviewing, you're like, who's the guy Grant Cardone looks up to? You're interviewing that person. What do you ask him?
Well, I would ask him questions that would help me help my brand. I always do that. I do interview questions. I'm always asking people stuff I can use later to help my own brand. If you notice any of my interviews.
All right. So give us, what's an example?
Donald Trump. Okay. Donald Trump. I'm like, what do you think about this hat right here, Donald? Okay. You know, what do you think about this hat, Mr. Trump?
Oh, I love it.
And then he took the hat. If you go back and watch the interview, he took that. He's like, man, I like that. Now, is this the same guy that made my MAGA hat? I said, yes, sir, it is. And he's like, I like this hat. And if you notice, he's like, should I put it on? Okay. And boom, he put it on just like this. And I won 20 grand right there because I had a bet that I could get Donald Trump without paying him to put my hat on.
That's dope.
Nobody knows that story. I've never. You ought to do a little thing where you're like how Grant Cardone won $20,000 getting Donald Trump to put his hat on.
Yeah, amen. I will do that when I listen to this again. All right. Well, for me, I mean, I'll go as long as you want, but I know
I got a few more minutes. Let's go like 6 or 8 more minutes. Maybe get a couple more questions.
All right. Cool. Awesome. Thanks for the permission. Anybody else? Give me a mic flash. Oh, I see Tara. Tara's flashing. So Tara, what's up?
Thanks, David, for hosting this. Grant, this is Tara below you 2 rows down. I have a question. I think
this is Tara, not Tara, right?
Tara.
Did I say
Tara? Because there's this other woman. She's a damn terrorist on Clubhouse.
Yeah.
Every night she gets false information. She's a lawyer. Terrible human being, by the way. Passes.
Oh man.
I'm not a terrible human being. I'm somebody very different.
Not her.
Yeah,
Okay.
not me. I have a quick question for you. So have you ever thought about taking all of your zone of genius and teaching it to children, like in the school system? Our school system does not teach us this shit.
Yeah.
So have you ever even thought about that?
Yeah. I was just talking to all our licensees about that exact thing this morning, where we're taking all the Cardone University, my zone of genius, as you call it. I appreciate that. And we're teaching, we're going to have kids like my kid in my background right here, 13-year-olds take and chop up all my content, and they're going to put a 13-year-old spin on it, 8-year-old spin, a 10-year-old spin, and teach other kids that, because kids will learn faster than from other kids than they will learn from their parents or their teachers.
Wow.
10X Kids University. And if your kids want to participate, I'll get anybody here watching right now. If your kids want to participate or you want your kids to participate, I'll give you Cardone University for them to study with you as a family. And then they can take and contribute. They just take their phone out, take down 3 notes, watch a video, We'll give you the little script. Hey, this is from Grant Cardone's Fundamentals of Selling. Let's say they pick that, or the 100 Ways to Stay Motivated, and they can pick the 2 or 3 topics they like, shoot a video, and we'll start editing that content together and put it together for our kids. Because the school system cannot do what you guys want them to do. There are 300,000 teachers short in this country. School system's broken. Curriculum's broken. Government's screwed up. The 12 years is too long. It's too expensive. It's outdated. And it's failing. And we should all step up and be more involved in our kids' education.
Yeah, I've been trying to do that over here in Canada for about 8 years. There's so much red tape everywhere, but I would love to maybe chat with you and figure out how we can do that over here in Canada, Grant.
Good. Well, you can do it anywhere because of the internet. And if you try to get Kevin Trudeau to agree to it, you'll never do it.
Justin Trudeau.
Justin, Kevin, whatever the hell his name is, they're the same. Kevin Trudeau was a criminal, and so is Justin.
All right. Thank you, Tara. Appreciate that. And yeah, I already spoke with my wife about it. We're on board with that too. So we're going to start doing that right away. So we get time for one more question. So anybody else, give me a flash if you're interested. I see, not seeing any. Okay. Shantae, did you have a question?
I did. You know, I always have a question, but I was talking to my seller, so I couldn't chime in just yet. But I did have a question, and my question is actually more geared towards, you know, a lot of the things that you do with your girls, Grant, with the direction that you're getting them to go with, you know, being business owners and just kind of starting their own journey. What would you say is the best option for parents? Because I've got 5 kids. So what would be my best option to help start them on the right path?
You know, I mean, I think number one is they need to see the example that you're setting, right? We don't force our kids into anything. So it's like, do they want to even do this stuff? We do tell them that, you know, we do educate them. They hear what I'm telling you guys every day. Number 2, we homeschool our kids. We think that that's a tremendous benefit. I think it's actually easier than sending them to school. And I think it's vital. Hopefully that'll prove to be right. We removed them from the school system so that they're not affected by an outdated system that has not gotten results. And so, you know, third thing is we try to give them the tools and show them, you know, we don't give them more responsibility than they can handle, and we don't give them less than they deserve. So.
Awesome. That's actually, I was actually thinking about the homeschooling thing anyway. So thank you very much. Yeah,
you're welcome.
All right, Grant. Well, I appreciate you, sir. I appreciate your time again today. What's next for you, man?
Next thing, bro, is to help more people, man. Let's go. Let's get the people going.
All right, brother. Well, I'm gonna respect your time. I thank you so much.
Appreciate you, David Hill. You're good dude, man.
Appreciate you too, sir. Thank you. Okay. It's an honor to be part of your organization.
Thank you, brother.
All right.